Sure, just how do you dissect this matchup? I mean, what, the top 2 defensive teams in the league, and think about the 3 matchups in the regular season.
Yeah.
So tight. I mean, should be a fun week and a half
Yeah,
or so, right?
Yeah, it's going to be, maybe very different than what we saw in the first round for both teams. What we saw, the knockdown, drag out nature of this series, this season, is probably what you're going to see throughout the course of these 200 minutes of this series. And so it should be hard for either team to get separation in a game. And it will be hard physically on both of us. And, it's just, I wish I could sit here and tell you exactly what we're going to get out of some of our offensive actions. You don't have any idea. It's just everything's going to be so hard.
Had such an identity around your defense, I know, but obviously it's going to be pretty important to be able to score once you get to the postseason, right? A couple 100-point games, it's probably as good as you can draw it up so far.
Different opponent.
Yeah,
different opponent. I mean, it's just not what Phoenix's strength was.
Right.
They could score the ball, which is why we gave up as many as we did. But yeah, I mean, both teams are trying to figure out how you can get a little more offense, for sure.
You think about the Connecticut Sun defensively, what's just like something that they do that's just so much better than every other team in the league? Like, what's just sort of the hardest thing to figure out when game planning for them?
It's more the physical toughness. It's not even really about a game plan. It's the physical toughness in moments that they do some unscripted things defensively because they're very good defensive players and they're led by the leader of their physical toughness and Alyssa Thomas, and they've got some other players. Ty Harris, her ball pressure and her physicality. You go to the basket, she strips it from you. There's just so many things that you can sit there and tell your players, hey, you gotta have strong catches, you gotta pivot, you gotta do it against a live player, and so players that are really persistent in that space, and so it's why they've been successful for a long time. They've been able to win with their defense, and it's hard to play against.
You talked about Land being challenged against Phoenix with that assignment and the sort of the post play that they have. Obviously this is another big challenge for her. But what is it going to be key for her to have a successful series against Connecticut?
Position. I think making sure that we're alert to the opportunities that they might try to get, and trying to create mismatches and get her in there by herself. She'll need her teammates' help. You have to. It's never with one player, but I think position probably is the number one thing.
You talk about her defense, like she said after the game. I mean, she's been kind of outsized in the post so often this year. She's being coached now by somebody who spent her whole career guarding bigger players and successfully. What is the key to Smith's success in those situations, and how much do you think Brunson has helped her?
It's a question for Land regarding B, but I would say that the similarity between the two is probably their activity. I mean, Brunson's way up there in terms of her ability to keep a player from catching the basketball. Land's activity in trying to prevent catches is very, very good. I think Land's length, her use of her length, her intelligent use of the shot blocking, or making it more difficult to get a clean shot off, right? So her activity, and just her, she's pretty quick on her vertical, when she gets up and tries to get, pieces of the shot.
She's very good walling up, right? I mean,
she's not a wall up, because wall up implies stationary, like your feet on the ground.
Right.
I mean, I think she's more, what we call airborne. Like it's. I just think that she's, more volleyball-like. I think I've said it a few times. More volleyball-like.
And really good deflections too.
Yes.
High deflection number.
High deflections. Yeah. I think we figured out she's second on the team.
Yeah.
To Fee, who's obviously dominant in that space.
What did you learn from the playoff series against the Sun last season? Is there anything that maybe helps game planning or just player experience in that series?
I mean, it's what we already knew about them, so we didn't necessarily learn it about them. We just weren't able to overcome them. This team's different. So we're a far better offensive team than last year's team. I go back sometimes and watch that, and I go, how were we 40 minutes from being in the semifinals? you know, this team poses a lot of challenges, and we have the highest effective field goal percentage against Connecticut. And so we don't turn the ball over, and you know that's a big thing. That's a big if. You know, those pick sixes that they created, you know, are really, really impressive. Pick sixes obviously is not. You know, you get the idea.
Yeah.
Turn it over. Go.
Pick twos, right?
Pick twos. There you go.
How much did Mabry change, make it more difficult to defend them?
I mean, yeah, because it's a scorer's mentality on the perimeter, three ball, right? They brought her in for that. Ty Harris has been terrific for them in that space, but now you add Mabry to that, and then just an additional scorer. So, you know, as a sixth player, you know, that was a huge trade, huge trade.
Did you look back, Cheryl, at what was it 10 days ago, the win at Connecticut? Just the significance of that, and having game one Sunday here as opposed to out there.
Yeah, I mean that's why we wanted it so bad, right? We didn't have it last year over these guys, and you know we thought it was important, and hopefully that will show itself. You know, we understand if we win our home games in this series that we will advance to the WNBA finals. Now that being said, it's not easy to do, right? There's two good teams. You know, home court kind of can get thrown out of the window. You know, because when teams are good, they win on the road and they win at home. And so we certainly have our challenges set out for us, but you know, we'd much rather have ourselves in a situation of 3 of the 5 games being at Target Center.
Talked a little bit after game 2 about ball movement, and for the series, you know, 58 assists on 68 buckets.
Yeah.
It's something that's been a calling card of this team, you know, all year. But just in going back and watching that Phoenix tape, just like how has that team been to be able to be so great at moving the ball right away, and for it to keep evolving throughout the season?
Yeah, I just think it speaks to who they are as basketball players. We understood our identity from the very beginning, right? We're not a low block team. This resembles more of the 2020 team, where Fee was the screener, the roller, and we had shooters spaced around her. That was one of her best seasons as a pro. So I think we just understood our identity, and they believed in each other. They believed in each other. They believed that if we make this next pass, this easy play, right? And they just built this confidence, and so it was just like this evolution. And it, like you said, quickly became our identity and something we had trust in.
Any final questions?
Thanks, Cheryl.
Thank you.